I don't know why I'm always drawn to these bad boys. Girl, it's actually quite simple. You just gotta stop chasing them, you know? And maybe even find yourself someone who's quiet and boring. That way, no bad boy problems. See? Simple fix. Thanks. Hello everyone! So there's an article I've read from the Psychology Today by Stosny. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And there's something that caught my attention. Don't know if a lot of you guys already know this. If you do, well, I guess I've just been living under a rock, but I found it interesting and I'd like to share it. There's a segment in the article that talks about the issue of how some women find themselves caught in the cycle of dating toxic partners. Now, I don't believe in victim blaming. They don't consciously seek out to be in unhealthy relationships. However, I do believe that a lot of this happens in a subconscious level. As an outsider who is curious from the psychological standpoint, I am interested in knowing why this occurs. Some theorize that children who've had abusive or concerning treatment in their upbringing will cause them to be more attracted to partners who have similar unhealthy traits that their parents had. There's also the intermittent reinforcement theory by B.F. Skinner, which originated from his theories of operant conditioning and behaviorism. Basically, the quickest and easiest way for me to explain this is that we generally lose interest in consistent outcomes. So something that's either always negative or positive. But when it's an inconsistent outcome, we tend to seek it out more for the positive reward. So in this case, it can be being with someone who treats us unpredictably, like hot or cold, or nice and harmful. That stimulates our brains into wanting to seek this out more in hopes that we get the positive treatment that we desire. It's kind of messed up, isn't it? So perhaps these explanations are true in some cases, but after reading the article, it presented another possible alternative. It starts with this. Research shows that if a woman has been mistreated in the past, even in childhood, there is a good chance that she'll be mistreated in her next relationship as well. It's called multiple victimization, and it is often misunderstood. So this pretty much mirrors what I've mentioned earlier about the problematic upbringing, which causes someone to seek out a person who has those problematic traits. It continues on. If you've experienced multiple victimization, please understand this. The problem is not that you attract only resentful, angry, or abusive suitors. It's that by and large, you have not been receptive to the gentler, more respectful men you also attract. This is not due to your temperament or personality. It's a normal defensive reaction. So 2 things. It's saying that you're not actively seeking someone out with those negative traits, whether it's subconscious or not, but it's also saying that you haven't learned how to tell when someone who is nice is into you. I can see people connecting this to the "this is why nice guys always finish last" argument. Oof. Okay, continuing on. After you've been hurt, of course you'll put up subtle barriers for self-protection. Non-abusive men will recognize and respect those boundaries. For example, suppose that you work with someone who's attracted to you, but he senses you're uncomfortable with his small gestures for more closeness. He will naturally back off and give you the time to heal, or he'll settle for a non-romantic friendship. Okay, so jokes aside as to why nice guys are always friend-zoned, here it's telling me that there's an illiteracy in being able to read nonverbal communication. One party might be trying to show respect to the boundaries they sense from the person they're interested in, and the other person might read these lack of pursuits as being disinterested. So we definitely have a communication problem. And continuing. But a man who is likely to mistreat you will either not recognize your barriers or completely disregard them. He will continue to hit on you until he breaks down the protective walls that surrounds you. Okay, so I want to first mention that after reflecting on this, I think an extension to this problem is some of the expectations that our culture and society has on the different sexes. For example, this is not everyone, but generally speaking, females tend to expect men to make the first move and chase us. And there's even an expectation for us to give in to the guys who don't take no for an answer.
Well, will you go out with me?
What? No!
No?
No!
No.
Hey, pal, she just told you.
Why not?
I don't know, because I don't want to. Ella!
All right, well, you leave me no other choice then.
Oh my God!
I'm not kidding! No, stop fooling around!
What are you doing? Oh, wait, grab the ball.
I'm gonna ask you one more time. Will you? Or will you not go out with me? God damn, my hand's slipping.
Then grab the ball, you idiot!
Not until she agrees.
Oh, go out with him, honey.
Okay, fine. I'll go out with you.
No, don't do me any favors.
No, I want to.
You want it.
Yes!
You want it.
Say it.
I want to go out with you.
Say it again.
I want to go out with you!
All right, we'll go out.
Is an aggressive pursuit romantic? I'm reading that we have to understand what our own personal boundaries are and make sure that others understand it too. And if others can't respect that, we have to see that as a red flag. And don't give in to guys who hang off Ferris wheels. Now, I do believe context matters. There could be a situation where someone who is normally very respectful might be in a position where they need to push someone out of their comfort zone. But what I do think that this is saying is just to be aware and be careful if you notice that this type of behavior is becoming a pattern that is ingrained in the individual's character. Because if they don't respect the small boundaries, it's very possible that they won't respect the bigger and more serious boundaries. So you want to catch this behavior early on to prevent getting into a situation that can be harmful. You can have that conversation of what your expectations are to respect your boundaries, and if that person continues to ignore them, that's probably a cue for you to move on. We also don't notice those who present a more subtle and respectful interest towards us, and we need to learn how to read those too. How though? I don't know. It just seems that as a species, we don't know how to communicate. However, I do think that understanding things like psychology can really bring insight. Because once we have better understanding and knowledge about ourselves, we can then make better decisions for our own personal well-being. If I do find a more concrete answer though, I'll be sure to share. So stay curious and continue learning. Hopefully this can be helpful for you or someone you know. So please share, and until next time, take care.